The City of Burlington has been operating with 6 councillors ever since the regional government was created in the 1970s. To assess whether this is still the appropriate council composition and whether ward boundaries should change, the city has retained Watson & Associates for their independent consulting services.
But our question really is about, can you get the representation you want, given the complexity and the growth and the responsibilities of a city like Burlington with only 6 people? Because the other wrinkle in there is that those 6 people also all serve on Halton Region Council. So they're doing the same sort of thing in 2 different municipalities, well, 2 overlapping municipalities. So we basically asked the question about whether that's the best way to represent the interests of the citizens of Burlington in ongoing governmental issues. Now, we can't change the number of regional seats. But the other side, the city council seats, could be changed.
The second issue being discussed through public consultation and survey is whether the current ward boundaries are still effective.
Burlington is divided into 6 wards. Those boundaries have been fairly steady for most of regional government. There have been a few tweaks in there, but not in at least 10 years. Population has grown and changed, and the population of the wards varies enormously, as does their geography. So part of the review would be to say, leave that earlier conversation. If council says, no, we don't want to change from 6, can we look at the way those 6 are drawn up and see whether we can balance out the population, whether we can use more significant boundary lines, whether we can capture the interests of the community in a better way. It's a bit of an odd perspective for some people, but for example, there's an awful lot of Burlington that's rural. And some of that, a lot of it is in 2 wards and some of it in a 3rd ward, but is rural Burlington well served by being divided into 2 different wards? To try to create a single rural ward, not everyone would see that as appropriate, means there's only one voice, which is a good thing, but the population probably wouldn't stack up compared to the other 5. So there's a bit of juggling back and forth, but the question of whether the wards properly reflect the communities within Burlington or could be redrawn in a way that still respects and works within the communities that are in existence. The other wrinkle in here, of course, is that there's a huge amount of growth anticipated. And we know roughly where that's going to be, mostly at the transit hubs. So 3 big growth areas are going to radically alter the population within maybe 4 of the wards. Should council be prepared to adopt a model that grows into that? In other words, takes it into account.
To learn more and have your say, visit getinvolvedburlington.ca/boundary review. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading.